French Speak Learners, Tavy Baisley here. And today I wanted to use some inspiration that I've received from reading the Carol Dweck book called Mindset, The Psychology of Success. So part of my role, as I see it, is as a teacher and a language coach, is to not only provide you with the most effective teaching method to learn French, obviously, but also to help you get past some of the mindset issues, some self-imposed limitations you might have, negative thoughts and any habits that are getting in the way of you becoming the French speaker you can be. So I love what Carol teaches because she explains it in a way that helps us apply the concepts in our everyday life. But I can really clearly see how it can help your French learning too. So her amazing book and research were inspired by her fascination around different people dealing with failure. If this doesn't look or sound relevant to you yet, bear with me. In France, we start school at the ripe old age of 3.5 years old, and growing up in the 80s, there was a big focus on grading and ranking us within the classroom through testing. And I have a very early memory, before I was even 5 years old, standing with all my classmates at one end of the classroom, with our parents sitting in the middle area on chairs, and at the back of the classroom, there was a long, colourful table, all decorated and covered with books and games. The teacher would proceed in reading the list of kids name by name and then sending us one by one to the back of the class to select our preferred reward. And the names would come through in the order of best ranking to least. So you can see that from an early age it was very clear that there was a high value going to be placed on grades and the reward of the race of everyone trying to get the best results possible. So why do people love challenges and why do people shy away from it? It's fascinating, and it's not always what you think. Some of the smartest and most intelligent people will shy away from them because they don't want their IQ challenged. So they can avoid the fear of failure. They'll try and avoid any kind of challenge, pushing themselves, and in case they can't complete it successfully or be the best at something. People who are labeled as intelligent often avoid it unless they're sure they can excel at it. So as you can imagine, from knowing what it's like to learn French, you've got to go through that embarrassing feeling, that cringe feeling of thinking of how to make a coherent sentence and then ending up sounding sometimes like a toddler with a 3-word sentence. So being able to, if you believe that success is based on your innate ability, then you're classified as having a fixed mindset. The flip side, on the other side, is a growth mindset, and that requires hard work, getting uncomfortable by learning new things, and knowing that this mindset characterizes people who like to take on a challenge, they like tackling hard things, and they know that they learn through the process, that they'll get better and better, and that their ability and skill will increase. So her research has shown over and over that our brains are plastic, that we can have the ability to continuously learn, and our IQ is definitely not fixed. So the more challenges we take on, the smarter and the more capable we can become. Having a young daughter myself who started school just last year, we've really taken on board her learnings, and we try and reward her efforts. We're encouraging the trying part rather than rewarding the outcome. So from an early age, we've been trying to tell her if she knocks something over from a high chair, we'd say to her, whoops, that's how you learn. And I guess it shouldn't have been a surprise that a few years later, when she was maybe 3 years old, she saw me knock something over on the kitchen counter and turned around to me in her sweet little voice and said, oops, maman, that's how you learn. So it definitely sticks, and it doesn't take that many repetitions. So how I see this to be valuable for you, my dear learner, is that learning a language is already a crazy challenging journey. But if you approach it with a fixed mindset, it can be even harder. And don't worry, I also catch myself saying things all the time. I'll never get this. My memory is bad these days. I can't say that. Or I'm okay at listening, but I'm pretty rubbish at speaking. So next time you encounter a setback or you make a mistake in French, just consider it turn it into a not yet rather than a failure. In her book, she mentions a US school who, instead of giving F grades to students, they've turned it into not yet. So try and reward the process rather than learning to focus on the outcome. So how will growth mindset help you? Change the language more to not yet. I can't say that yet. Things haven't clicked for me yet. I haven't memorized this fully yet. When you get stuck and you feel unable to express something you want to say, then simplify it. Try and find another way to express the same thing, and remember to make a mental note, and this is what's going to make the difference. If you're in a conversation, but if you're writing something, just jot it down and remember to go back and figure it out for next time. It's these short feedback loops that will help. Also, be patient with yourself. Things will take more than one go. And for them to stick, it's all part of the process. You can't succeed at learning French by studying the theory, the words, the grammar, the syntax, how to say those words alone. You have to go through the messy, uncomfortable process of trying to express yourself and fine-tune that over time. So try to speak out loud as much as possible and get your nose out of your notebooks, books and apps. By having regular access to a teacher, you're able to get feedback more regularly, which hugely helps at understanding what you must focus on, what you've mastered and what you haven't mastered yet. So in the language, you're building onto that all the time. So the key in Carol Dweck's word is to engage with your errors instead of avoiding them totally. I've been running some meetups for French Speak for a few years now, and after each gathering, at the end, I love to encourage all the attendees to share a learning or a mistake with each other, rather than something they were able to do that day. So then together we can celebrate those mistakes and draw from the learnings, and everyone can grow. The fixed mindset, you're saying you're good at this, but you're not good at that. You're smart in some areas of life, but you're not good at languages or at remembering names or at mental calculations. So just try and catch yourself when you say those things. By embracing the growth mindset, you'll feel more empowered to tackle harder things, and you'll have a positive outlook on challenges. You'll get better and better, and through the process of doing it. Focus on growing always, and remember that growth is tweaking and correcting, not waiting so that you can produce the most beautiful and perfect sentence in French. One of my favorite quotes of hers is, "Becoming is better than being." So here's hoping that you're inspired to take more changes, get curious about your mistakes, and enjoy the effortful process of learning French. Voila! I'll see you in the next video.